morning, Anurag.
Good morning, ma'am.
How are you today?
Ma'am, I'm fine, thank you.
You're good. And when is your interview?
Ma'am, it's not in the second phase also. It's
Okay,
in
good.
third
So you have
phase.
lots of time. And are
Yes,
you
ma'am.
working right now?
Ma'am, no, I have resigned.
Okay. Where were you working before?
Ma'am, I was working in DPIIT, Department for Promotion of Internal Trade and Industry.
Oh, and what were you working as?
Ma'am, Assistant Section Officer.
What were you handling? Which areas were you
Ma'am,
handling?
yeah, I was handling Make in India, that is public procurement policy there.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes, ma'am.
And you are just the person to give us lots of solutions. Okay. You belong to West Delhi, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
And West Delhi has got a different sort of a culture, which is now suddenly coming out in Bollywood films. Huh?
Yes,
Which,
ma'am.
which was the most famous film on the West Delhi culture of late? It got a lot of awards also.
Ma'am, Rocky and Rani ki Prem Kahani.
What about Queen?
Queen, yes, ma'am. Queen also.
And a lot of Ayushmann Khurrana movies. So why is there so much interest in West Delhi culture now in films? Why do you think it's so?
Ma'am, the West Delhi has a specific culture of Punjabi migrants who migrated from
So why
Pakistan.
suddenly, earlier we never had that sort of thing in film. Punjabis were like, sarson ke khet and all that. So
Yes, ma'am.
why suddenly this change?
Ma'am, there was influence in the form of subtle influence in the form of music, for example, Punjabi music were always there, and some of the Punjabi actor, but that was seen more in the lighter sense. But now they are exploring it because of the vibrant culture, kind of culture they have, that is outgoing nature of the culture that they have, and also their music and their
I thought it
festivities.
was more very middle class themes. I thought
Yes,
that
ma'am.
was the message I took away. Okay,
Okay.
interesting. You like to travel to hill stations, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
So why only hill stations?
Ma'am, I have been to beaches also. My father has
Okay, but
taken
you
me there.
but you
But
like the hills better. So do
yes,
I.
ma'am. Ma'am, because the kind of weather there, ma'am, I like cold weather to be honest. And
But the
second,
hill stations are nightmares in the season time, in summer. So
yes,
you go
ma'am.
to the hill station per se, Shimla, Masuri, Nainital, or do you go to an out of the way place? What do you like?
Ma'am,
Like
to
trekking.
outer way unexplored places I like more.
Very
For
nice.
example,
So
I
where have
have
you
been,
been in Uttarakhand?
ma'am, not particularly in Uttarakhand. Yeah, in Uttarakhand, I have been to Ranikhet and I have been
That's
to,
very much bang on mainstream. It's a cantonment, so it saved a little bit from all the haphazard construction.
yes,
Where
ma'am.
else have you been?
Ma'am, I have been to Kheer Ganga also, Kheer Ganga trek.
Khir Ganga trek is from where to where?
Ma'am, it's from Kasol to ma'am.
Oh,
There is
sorry,
a town.
Himachal
Yes, ma'am.
Pradesh.
Sorry, yeah, it's in Himachal Pradesh. So
Hmm.
it's from Kasoli to the top. There lies hot water bed are there, and there are many streams. It is Khir Ganga because the water that flows through there is very clean and very pure.
फिर
Very
तो milk होता है. Okay.
yes,
So
ma'am.
when you trek, what is the time you should start your trek? And what are three key essentials you must always carry on a trek?
Ma'am, the trekking
Three,
time should
four,
be.
whatever.
Yes, ma'am. The trekking time should be early morning so that by the evening you are able to reach your summit point. You are able to save there. I realized this when I was doing Khirganga trek as we started a bit late because there were so many
It
people
was a
in the
one-day
group.
trek.
Yes, ma'am. It was a
Okay.
one
And
day
what
trek.
time did you start?
Ma'am, we started at around 12 or maybe 11:30 because of
Afternoon.
yes, ma'am. And
Hmm.
somehow we thought that we'll be able to make it to the top, but we couldn't. So we had to stay in the local area that in the hut in their place because it got really scary at night. And we
You
were
also don't get a view. You don't get any view because
yes,
the
ma'am.
afternoon the hills cloud up.
Yes, ma'am.
Time to start is before sunrise.
Yes.
I
And ma'am,
start at 2:30 in the night when I do my treks. Okay,
okay.
all
And ma'am, three things that
right.
we need to
Yes.
carry is ma'am, water is essential. And second is ma'am, a stick. You should carry a stick because there might be issue of some animal or also in
Mm-hmm,
case you feel a
mm-hmm,
bit
mm-hmm.
tired. And ma'am, you should have light snacks in the form of sandwich or biscuits.
Hat.
Hat,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, very good. Very good. All right. So now, as a sociologist, please analyze this Manipur conflict that is happening in terms of just to tell you the boundaries of what I would want you to say. One is why is this conflict? Second, the handling of the conflict so far. And third, how do you propose to solve it? Just very briefly.
Okay, ma'am. This issue of Manipur is because of ethnicity, difference in ethnicity, and also the benefit that they feel that is there is resentment among the tribal that the benefit are being taken over by the people who are in majority, that is the Metis population. So there is um, fear among them that their jobs, their land will be
Yes, yes,
taken. Yes, ma'am. So,
absolutely.
so ma'am, that is the fear among them that they would be deprived of benefit. So, ma'am, first is because of inequality and because of the level of development that is low in the tribal community. They feel that they would be left
Move on to the
behind.
crisis now. What
Yes,
happened?
ma'am. Okay. Ma'am, crisis happened because of the mismanagement, and secondly, they also. mm, I'm not able to analyze it at the moment. I'm not able to recall. The crisis happened because there was taken over by they took over the state machinery. They took guns from there. They took
Who
some of
they? Who's the they?
ma'am the tribal the Kuki, Mizo, ma'am. Those were few people.
Cookie Mizo? Who took
Uh,
over what? Where?
Then they took over the police station. They entered the police station and they stormed there, and then they took the weapons from those places. And also, they somehow the state machinery could not control the law and order situation in that region. So that is why it escalated. And ma'am, secondly, they also mistreated. The tribal mistreated some of the women, so that is why it was emphasized
Okay.
that.
We'll
Yes,
move
ma'am.
on to your assignment, your Make in
Okay.
India. Now, despite all the Make in India and stand-ups and startups and everything going on since 2014, we still have a huge adverse balance of trade bill with, with China, and increasingly so. Huh? So, what should be the path to import substitution from China? What are the products you should choose? Where they stand today?
Okay. Ma'am, yes, ma'am, there is a huge dependency on China. Be it,
Don't
yes,
explain the
ma'am.
question. Come to the
Okay.
answer
Yes,
directly.
ma'am. For example, ma'am, even in mobile phone, the we depend a lot on the semiconductor as well as the chips that we import from there. And ma'am, to
Problem is
first,
known. Give the
yes,
solution now.
yes, ma'am. For solution, we need to have a proper mechanism that is that we should be able to provide the conducive environment for industries to set up in India, and there
That's
should be.
already there. Ease of business and all those things. But what are the industries? What would you choose for import substitution? Based on our strength, based on the size of the Chinese imports here,
Yes, ma'am.
what would you choose and why?
Ma'am, as in the industry, which industry would I choose?
Pathway to import
Yes,
substitution means which are the
yes, ma'am.
products you would take and how you would do it.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am. That is one district, one product that the our government has. So therein, for
Which
example, the
government
toys,
has?
Indian government, present government.
Hmm.
So, ma'am,
Mhm.
therein we will try to choose some of the products that are prevalent in our country that are most
Naturally,
important.
you will not choose
Yes,
product prevalent to the United States of America.
yes, ma'am. So, ma'am,
Do you
for
have any
example,
idea, or shall
yeah,
we do another question? If you have
ma'am,
an
yes,
idea,
ma'am.
tell us.
A few idea. For example, ma'am, toys that we have are mostly Chinese made. I have seen some of the toys that my
How much of our imports are do toys contribute to the imports, and how value added are they?
ma'am, I'm not aware of this, ma'am, but they are very low in number.
Sorry, we'll talk of
And
something else.
okay, ma'am.
Uh, you have given foreign service as which choice?
Ma'am, it's third choice.
Number three, no?
Yes, ma'am.
So, do you think US is a reliable ally?
Ma'am, based on our past experience, US has not been a reliable ally throughout all these
Should we
years.
not move towards China, towards Russia then?
Ma'am, Russia has always supported us, and ma'am,
I
always.
know. That's what I'm asking. Should we
Yes.
abandon all this and take a one-sided position supporting Russia in all these conflicts happening?
Ma'am, no, ma'am. We never sided with one country. We always try to ensure that our India's interest is served. So through whichever way we are able to ensure our interest. For example, ma'am, in 2000, yeah, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am.
We'll discuss it in feedback, huh?
Okay, ma'am. Thank
Good afternoon, or rather, it's good morning,
you. Good
Anurag.
morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Uh, India-Canada relationship has been rather cold for little less than 1 year. What are the reasons behind it? And what are the major developments which have taken place, say, within last 15 days?
Yes, sir. Sir, some of the major reasons behind the deterioration of India and Canada relation are the first is that Canada straight away blamed India for killing of Niger. And sir, secondly, they also they said that supported the decision that we have freedom of speech and expression, so we won't restrict the anti-India elements that were operating in Canada. So, sir, this is the bone of contention. And secondly, sir, also we somehow asked the Canada embassy to reduce the strength in India, and the same was done by Canada also.
What was full name of Niger?
Sir, Hardeep Singh Nijjar.
And what is the latest development in the between India and Canada relationship? Last week only it was in news.
Yes, sir. They said that they are providing evidence to the Indian government. Sir, as far as I remember, sir, I'll read more on this.
Okay. There is a lot of news about Red Sea.
Yes, sir.
What was related to that Red Sea phenomena only? Yesterday there was a news. Today's newspapers carry on the front page.
Yes, sir. Sir, the Houthi rebels are causing problem in this region because they are attacking the ships as well as the merchant vessels that are traveling through those countries. So because of that, there is issue of diversion of transport, the sea route of navigation from Red Sea region to the Cape of Good Hope. So that is causing some of the problem because it is leading to increasing delay in the transportation of goods, and also rise in our import bill.
What was the Indian Navy done yesterday, which was in news?
Yes, sir. Sir, they helped in anti-piracy operation, which was Irani vessel, Irani fishermen. They were somehow attacked by the pirates of Somalia. So Indian Navy through INS. So I'm not remembering the name of the ship. Through their Indian Navy helped them avert the danger.
The crew members belong to which country?
Sir, also from Pakistan. A few members from Pakistan also, sir, from what I have read.
Okay, better read this thing.
Okay.
Now, coming something to do with Israel mass conflict and Ukraine-Russia conflict and
Yes,
various conflicts. There is a strong belief that United Nations has outlived its utility. It is no longer able to serve the objectives for which it was created, that is prevention of war and conflicts. What, in your opinion, should United Nations continue in the present format? Should we have a new organization in place of United Nations?
Sir, there is need for amendment of United Nations because there has been some of the failure of United Nations in meeting the desired objective for which it was set up. That is for preventing the war and having peace and security in place. Sir, few amendments that can be made are that it does not reflect the present geopolitics and the present reality of the times. So, for example, the five veto member countries that are there who have the veto power, five permanent members. So, sir, they also don't reflect the present reality, sir, first of all. And sir, secondly, some of the decisions that are taken by the UNSC are averted because of the the permanent member using their veto power. For example, there was a resolution in order to stop the Israel-Hamas conflict, but that US did not back. So, sir, it needs to be changed, and some new institution which reflects the present times should be set up.
You're talking two things. You are
Yes,
saying
sir.
that because veto power is being misused, so there should be reform in that.
Yes, sir.
On the other hand, you are saying new institution should be set up. So you have to give me one view,
Okay, sir.
whether you want United Nations to be reformed and continue, or whether United Nations should be abolished and a new institution should be brought in place.
Sir, abolishing right away would not be a solution, is what I feel, because it does tend to serve some of the purposes. For example, sir, it provides peacekeeping force, peacekeeping missions in places. Sir, till the time we don't have an alternate institution, we should aim for reforming the United Nations.
Okay, in the same context, International Court of Justice passed some interim measures, an order containing some interim measures to Israel. What was that decision?
Sir, the decision that ICJ passed was that they should stop the genocide, but they stopped short of saying that the ceasefire should be in place. So, sir, it was the decision.
Ceasefire should be in place.
No, sir, they stopped short of taking this decision.
Okay. Coming to a different subject.
Yes, sir.
You have finance commissions,
Yes, sir.
right? Which is the latest finance commission? What is the number? You have first, second, third one. Which is the current finance commission and who is the chairman?
Sir, it is 15th Finance Commission, and the chairman is N.K. Singh.
You better read. Anyway,
Okay.
What are the basic, principles on which Finance Commission decides the division of taxes between center and states? What factors they take into account? Major factors. I'm not asking all the factors. Give me one or two major factors.
Sir, they take into account the population, and sir, also the steps taken to for environment, that is forest cover, and sir, also they take into account sir, demography. Sir, other factors I'm not able to recall, sir.
Okay. Tell me the main salient features of Bilkis Bano judgment.
Sir, the recent one, sir, where the Supreme Court said that the Gujarat court does not have the authority to take the decision, that is to release the perpetrators of the crime. The jurisdiction should have been with the Mumbai Supreme Court, Mumbai High Court, sir.
Court or government?
Sir, court, sir, Mumbai's court.
Okay. Thank you, Anurag.
Okay, sir.
Right. Anurag, did
Sir.
you go through the newspaper today?
No, sir, I have not read it, sir.
Haven't. Okay. What about yesterday's? Well, you might have gone through.
Yes, sir, I have.
Okay. So, yesterday, what do you think was the most important news?
Sir, the India helping the pirates, that is the averting the danger in Arabian Sea region, sir. That
INS
was one of the-
Sumitra thing, right?
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yes, sir.
There was also an article on simultaneous elections. Did you go through that? In the Hindu, there was a very detailed discussion on this, right?
Yes.
Were you able to go through it?
No, sir, I
Okay.
didn't able to.
Okay,
I
no
was not.
problem. Right. Just to have an idea, what's your view on simultaneous elections? And is it even possible for a large country like India?
Sir, simultaneous elections, there are some positives, as we have seen that it will help in reducing the amount of time that is spent on the amount of time, as well as amount of the administration and manpower that is required for holding the election. That will help in reducing. And sir, secondly, this when
Will
elections
it
are
not
in
just
place,
increase the amount of manpower required?
Sir, no, sir, because election continues to take place in various state as well as in various sir at center. So, sir, it will ensure that they takes place at a time. And sir, also secondly, due to the election in place, the manifesto MC's model code of conduct are also in place. So that leads to the stalling of various new initiatives that can be taken by the government. So, sir, because of this, we are considering of having simultaneous election. However, sir, the negative of simultaneous election is that it cut short some of the assembly. The sir also the principle of federalism also takes a back seat, sir.
Okay. So, don't you think we'll have to amend the constitution if we have to do that?
Yes, sir, we do have to amend.
Perhaps we would need to do that. Okay. You must have heard of the Maldives, right? Issue
Yes, sir.
recently. And what was the news yesterday about the president there?
Sir, that he might get impeached because of lack of majority.
Okay.
Yes,
And
sir.
what do you think, about the India Out campaign and the recent controversy?
Sir, the India Out campaign is more of a political campaign, sir, and that has led to some of the decisions and also the so some of the Maldives relation, India also getting troubled because of that. Because earlier, what was the norm was that Maldives, the head used to visit India as a first country
Now
whenever they
let's
were elected, but now,
let's
yes, sir.
move a little further.
Okay.
Now, assuming, let's say you are made, the head of our digital initiatives in the MEA. Let's say you become an IFS officer and they say, Anurag, right, you seem to be a technically sound person. You should be heading our digital initiatives. And one threat you feel is that there's a social media hijacking of our diplomacy, right? First there was the India Out campaign, then there was a Maldives, was on social media was banned. There tends to be a Khalistan, Twitter handle, obviously working out all the time. So social media is hijacking diplomacy. You feel, right? What would you do to stop this? Or you will say that it's fine, let it be.
No, sir. Sir, there are some steps that I think I will take. Sir, first is that keeping intermediary, that is social media intermediary accountable. That is, they should be able to flag the content, whether it's from the official source or that is from some of the miscreants or unofficial source, first of all. And sir, secondly, I'll ensure that there is proper reporting of decisions that are taken by our embassy in a timely manner, which are the official statements, so that the relation does not get strained between the countries. And sir, other than that, I'll ensure that cultural as well as the soft power is leveraged, sir. Even through digital media, we are able to share the culture of each other by various music videos or dance, like what happened during the G20.
Okay.
Hi, Anurag.
Hello, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Have you heard about Sapinda relationships?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me more about them? What are they, and what does our law says about these relationships? First of all, why they were in news, and what is the legislation, Hindu Marriage Act, saying about the Sapinda relationships?
Ma'am, Sapinda relationship relates to the marriage that is from mother side, from 3 generation, the marriage is not allowed, and from father side, 5 generation, the marriage is not allowed in the Hindu, the Special Marriage Act.
Yes.
Then this is the clause, and ma'am, the judgment was that it is not allowed as per the Special Marriage Act. So, ma'am, but there is also a clause that if there is a culture wherein Sapinda marriage is permitted, therein it can be allowed.
So what are your views on it? Like, should it be allowed or should it be like banned as it is right now? So what are your views on it?
Ma'am, it should be left to the community to decide. That is, imposition in such kind of matter is not is I feel is not the right thing to do, because there has been some customs in South where Sapinda marriage is allowed. There is cross cousin marriage. So, ma'am, it should be left as it is.
Okay, so according to you, what are the reasons that it is not allowed? Are there any reasons quoted, or why is it not a part of our culture, our common culture, and is restricted to a few places or a few pockets only?
Ma'am, the main contention is that it is incestuous in nature, and ma'am, also it leads to some deformities in case there is marriage within the family. So, ma'am, this is the primary reason why these are not allowed.
Okay. So if there is a child born out of a Sapinda relationship and in the culture it is not allowed, so would that child be a legitimate one, or have you read about this? Because this was the part of the judgment only, the judgment given by the Delhi High Court.
Ma'am, I have not read upon this issue.
Okay, so you've heard about the suicides which are taking place in Kota.
Yes, ma'am.
So what do you think are the sociological reasons why are these suicides are on the rise, especially in coaching institutions, areas related to coaching institutions? Why do we keep seeing the suicides in children?
Ma'am, one of the reason that I can think of is, ma'am, when there is rising anomie, that is normlessness in the society is very high, then suicide rate do tend to get higher. So, anomie in the form that there is very high inequality as well as poverty in our society, and parents expect that somehow if they are spending so much money on their children, they should be able to fulfill their dreams that they could not fulfill and help them in improving their status. So, ma'am, there is a lot of pressure because of that, and children are not able to cope with that. So, ma'am, this leads to a rise of suicide. And, ma'am, this is the sociological factor I can think of.
Okay, can you apply Durkheim's theory of suicide here in Kota's case?
Ma'am, not in particular, because as per Durkheim, the suicide rate are generally constant within a society. Uh, the rising number of suicide usually happen when there is sociological current. There are some currents in the society. So I'm not able to apply it on.
Okay. Can you tell me some positive aspects about the caste system? Can you give me like 3 or 4 positive aspects about the caste system, or they don't exist according to you? It's totally up to you to choose not to answer.
Okay, ma'am. The first positive aspect is the caste mobilization is possible when some community feel that they are left behind in the path of development and they are ignored by the uh, present dispensation. So, ma'am, they mobilize themselves and they
Give
continue
me an
to.
example. Can you give me an example of whatever?
Yes, ma'am. The Kunbi caste, as in the Kunbi in Mumbai caste. So they are mobilizing on the caste lines. And ma'am, second is that for political reason it is used, although it's in a negative sense, but it is re-emerging in the form of uh, political sense, that they are mobilizing on the lines of politics.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Anurag.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hi Anurag, how are you? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm fine.
So I see आपने पीछे वहां पे ऑल इंडिया रैंक 1 आईएएस का अभी ही वहां पे रख दिया है आपने एफर्मेशन पीछे किया हुआ है वहां पे
Yes, sir.
ये आपका स्टडी रूम है
Yes, sir. This is my study room.
Great. So when you wake up in the morning, so you look at this affirmation every day.
Yes, sir.
That that helps. I mean that gives you a sense of you know
Yes, sir.
accomplishment.
Yes, sir. That do tend to give me a sense of accomplishment. As this is my last attempt, so I have to keep myself motivated in any which way.
Do you do visualization like morning में जब हम उठते हैं थोड़ा meditation करते हैं visualization करते हैं? Do you do that?
Yes, sir. While sleep, prior to sleep, I tend to do that. I tend to meditate as well as visualize.
Have you ever felt the power of visualization?
Yes, sir, I have.
Uh-huh. If it's not so
Uh,
personal, can you just narrate one example?
yes, sir. Sir, when I was in fifth class, I was given a chance to participate in zonal level relay race competition. Sir, there were many competitors who were really nice when they were practicing. I realized that they had much more preparation. They had better kit than us. So at that time, I realized that how I'll be able to run and how I'll pass the baton and I'll take the baton from the other participant who are there in the relay race. So, sir, this helped in us bagging the second rank. So I ran. Yes, sir.
Awesome, awesome. Anurag, see, I was going through your profile, and so you left your job in 2022?
Yes, sir.
सरकारी नौकरी है तो अच्छी खासी नौकरी थी, you were earning decently well. Any reason you left it?
Yes, sir. Actually, sir, I had qualified UPSC. I had
Okay.
got 407 rank. But
Okay.
yes, sir. So because I wanted to improve my rank, so sir, I resigned.
So which service were you getting at 407?
Sir, I was getting IPS, but I have not been allocated because there is a ongoing court case. So there is a judgment that is left.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Anurag, you come across as a person who loves traveling as well.
Yes, sir.
So, कौन से पहाड़ ज्यादा पसंद है, हिमाचल के कि उत्तराखंड के?
सर हिमाचल नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न थोड़ा सा मतलब बेटर लगा.
ओके.
Yes, sir.
हिमाचल ट्रैवल किया है आपने?
Yes, sir, I have.
Yeah, it was very tragic last year what happened in Himachal, the floods which came in Himachal Pradesh. Now, what is the difference you feel? I mean, you have traveled across hill stations in Himachal and Northeast and Uttarakhand. What is the difference between, these hill stations across these states?
Sir, the difference is in the culture, sir, first of all. And sir, the second is the kind of management they have related to how they will handle heat, how they will handle the snow. And sir, third is also the food, variety of food that each place has. And also the activities related to sports. So these are the some of the differences.
Your preference is which hill stations which were your preference? The one in the Northeast or the one in the one in the Himachal or the one in Uttarakhand?
Sir, I like northeastern hill stations more because my experience there was quite unique there. I There was one botanical park where most of our group was reluctant to go, but me and my brother we went there and we explored the place. There was a very natural waterfall that was present in the region. So, sir, we decided to take a bath there. Matlab only two of us were there, and it was a very pristine as well as very divine experience, sir.
Right. Now,
Yes.
so most of us, we like going to Switzerland, we like going to Austria. हमको Indians को बहुत क्रेज होता है यूरोप के पहाड़ देख के आने हैं, बर्फ देख के आने हैं. What do you think? I mean, so for example, let's say you're posted in Himachal Pradesh. So how do you think you can, because you went to Kir Ganga, you talked about the Kir Ganga trek as well. Now, how can you increase tourism? How can you promote eco-friendly tourism, rather, I would say? Because there's a big problem in Himachal Pradesh that eco-friendly tourism इतना develop वहां पे नहीं हो रहा है. And people flock to Himachal Pradesh, specifically the area which you're talking about, Kir Ganga. We all know that why Kasol is famous for, right? We all know about
Yes, sir.
that. So
Yes, sir.
how would you deal with this problem that youngsters are trying to come to this place for ganja, weed, and all that? And simultaneously, you would also want to promote eco-friendly tourism. So how will you tackle this challenge?
Sir, I'll ensure that proper administration as well as the survey of the first of all, sir, I'll ensure that survey of the region is done, that which all area is there where the ganja as well as the cultivation is taking place in an illegal manner. So legal would be allowed because it can be used for medicinal purpose, but in case it is taking in an illegal manner, so they would be served notice first of all. And sir, secondly, in case there are centers that are distributing the ganja or weed to the youngsters, so those would not be allowed to should not be allowed, as it does tend to create a negative image of the area. Sir, these would be the steps, sir, I'll be taking. And for promoting ecotourism, sir, the one thing from my experience that I noticed in Sikkim was that there was people there were very conscious. Like our driver, they said that those who come from Delhi, they tend to pollute as well as dirty, make our place dirty. So, sir, they had a dustbin installed behind their seat, sir. So, in within the car. So they had that was too in the form of bamboo. So they said that you should throw anything in case you want. You should be throwing in this and not outside. So even they were very particular. So the important thing that is that community should be engaged, sir, for ensuring ecotourism. And sir, secondly, sir, there should be facility of homestays. Sir, these are two things, sir, where they can experience the local culture as well as the local vegetable. Organic plantation can also be experienced by foreigners. Sir.
तो अनुराग, जैसे एक आपको एक मैं केस स्टडी देता हूँ। मान लीजिए कि आप डीसी हैं कुल्लू डिस्ट्रिक्ट के, ठीक है, कुल्लू
Yes,
जो
sir.
हिमाचल में है,
Yes,
और
sir.
वहां पे कसौल कुल्लू डिस्ट्रिक्ट में ही आता है ना। कसौल में लोगों के लिए इंसेंटिव क्या होता है, यंगस्टर्स के लिए इंसेंटिव होता है कि वहां पे जाके नशा करना है। नाउ दिस इज पीपल फील दैट कि अगर कसौल जा रहे हैं तो वहां पे हम ये वीड गांजा सब करेंगे। अब अगर आप कोशिश भी करना चाहें, इवन इफ यू वांट टू try to break the backbone of this whole industry, this whole nexus, the people over there, the locals over there, they will tell you that सर ये तो हमारी रोजी रोटी है कि यहाँ पे लोग आते हैं, रहते हैं, स्टे करते हैं, टूरिज्म पर्पसेस के लिए आते हैं। बट इतने सालों से लोग आ रहे हैं वहां पे, लेकिन कोई कुछ कर नहीं पाया है। अब अगर आप वहां के डीसी हैं, तो ऐसा आप क्या इनिशिएटिव उठाएंगे कि पहले तो आप वहां के लोकल्स को, जो कि वहां के टूरिस्ट गाइड्स हैं, उनको आप थोड़ा इंकरेज कर सकें कि आप ये काम क्यों कर रहे हैं, बच्चों को नशा क्यों बेच रहे हैं। यू नो टूरिज्म से प्रॉब्लम नहीं है कि
Yes,
लोग
sir.
वहां पे घूमने आ रहे हैं, देयर इज नो प्रॉब्लम इन दैट।
Yes, sir.
People should come and visit, but how will you encourage the locals over there?
सर alternate ऑप्शन मतलब उनको एम्प्लॉयमेंट का कैन बी प्रोवाइडेड टू देम। सर ऐसा हाई सिर्फ एक इससे नशा या गांजा से वो बहुत एक टेम्परेरी हाई होता है, मतलब विच इज नॉट, आई डोंट थिंक इवन गुड फॉर योर हेल्थ। सो
Yes.
आप हाई जो है एक जैसे ट्रैकिंग करके भी उससे भी मिलता है। देन उसके बाद अगर आप राफ्टिंग करें, वहाँ पे राफ्टिंग के भी बहुत अच्छे स्ट्रीम्स हैं। देन वाटरफॉल में अगर आप वहाँ पे जाके नहाएं तो वहाँ से भी बहुत ही हाई, मतलब एक जो हाई जो आपको पूरी लाइफ में हेल्प करेगा। एंड सेकेंडली सर मेडिटेशन या ऐसे वेलनेस रिजॉर्ट उस तरह से भी हम उनको प्रोवाइड कर सकते हैं, जो कि वो उनको एक लाइफ लॉन्ग स्किल, जैसे वहाँ पे अगर टूरिस्ट आते हैं, बच्चे आते हैं, तो वहाँ पे वो अगर इस तरह का एक्सपीरियंस अगर ले सकें, मतलब इतना क्लीन एनवायरनमेंट में, जैसे दिल्ली से अगर कोई पोल्यूटेड सिटी से वहां पे जाके रह रहा है कुछ टाइम के लिए, एंड वहां पे वो एक्सपीरियंस कर रहा है बिल्कुल क्लीनलीनेस एंड बिल्कुल वहां पे मेडिटेशन एंड बॉडी को क्लींस कर रहे हैं, सो ऑर्गेनिक
Right.
का कर रहे हैं, तो उस तरह का आई ट्राई टू इंश्योर कि एम्प्लॉयमेंट वहां पे जनरेट हो सके और ऐसी अपॉर्चुनिटीज मिले।
All right. My last question to you, Anurag, would be related to international relations. A very
Yes, sir.
generic question. So, how do you feel that the diaspora, how do you feel that our diaspora is helping to sort of modulate India's foreign policy?
Sir, I'm sorry, sir, I didn't get the question, sir.
जो हमारा डायस्पोरा है, इंडियाज डायस्पोरा,
Yes, sir.
people sitting abroad, Indians sitting abroad, how do you think कि जो हमारा डायस्पोरा है, that is helping India's foreign policy? How is that helping India's foreign policy to be more, uh, modulated?
Sir, that does tend to help our diaspora, be it in Israel, be it in Russia, sir, because they ensure that the culture of India, in the form of movies, in the form of festivals, they are celebrated there, and the presence of Indian culture tends to create a very curiosity among the people of Russia. As I have discussed with some of my friends, they say that the songs such as Jimmy Jimmy and Mithun Chakravarti are very famous there, and they have a fascination towards this. So, sir, by using the soft power, the diaspora is ensuring that Indian culture is permeated there and it is spread there. And sir, due to this, this also is used by our embassies which are present in different countries. They try to mingle with their counterparts by organizing festivals, by organizing get-togethers on the line of Indian culture. So this way, our relations are improved and back-channel diplomacy is also used.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much,
Okay,
Anurag.
thank you.
So, Anurag, how do you think you fared today?
Ma'am, I need to improve. I need to be more adept with some of the basics.
Which things?
Ma'am, international relations.
So you have a very nice personality.
Thank
Things
you.
you are interested in, you talk very animatedly.
Okay.
For example, you were very, very good when it came to, trekking and, that, but describing that you went in the waterfall and this, that, you're very animated and different, Or even when you're talking about the films, be it Jimmy Jimmy or be it West Delhi culture, etc., you're very animated and very engaged, traveling to hill stations. But then in other areas, it looks like you get bored of that. But those are areas where you have to, all these areas, you may at best get one question.
Okay.
The rest of it is going to be, international affairs. It's going to be your subject. And you've
Yes, ma'am.
taken such a big risk by resigning, etc. So obviously you do not read the newspapers. Bilkis Banu, you insisted that it was the court that said this court. In fact, the honorable member asked you, was it court or government? They have
Okay.
said the government doesn't have jurisdiction,
Okay.
Gujarat government, because the case was held in Maharashtra. And that's the very core, because now the Maharashtra government has to take a decision on the remission matter.
Okay.
So you must read the papers properly.
Okay.
Similarly, International Court of Justice, you said they have directed Israel to stop the genocide. They have not.
Okay.
They have asked them to prevent genocide, which means they have not acknowledged that Israel is doing genocide. Ceasefire point you made was very correct. That is true. They have not even talked of ceasefire, but they've not even admitted that Israel is doing genocide. See, you must prepare these things properly.
Okay.
And it's an interesting interim order because the court does not normally give interim orders. So there's an attempt to put pressure, but the substance is lacking in it.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, Manipur, you love traveling to the northeast, but you knew nothing about the Manipur problem.
Yes, ma'am.
Nothing.
Actually,
You
I
did not even know that the whole thing was precipitated by the court suggesting that there should be ST status for Metis, for the dominant community, the plains community. That is what set it off this time. So that the tribal people and Mizos have nothing to do with that place. It's Kuki, Zumi, and Nagas were the tribes there.
Okay, ma'am. Sorry.
And Metis are the dominant tribe. No, not sorry.
Oh.
But you must know.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
this is all over the papers. And there has been a development in the last week when the extremist organization of Metis called a meeting, and ministers, MLAs, everybody from the Metis community attended. So please prepare.
Yes, ma'am.
You like traveling to the northeast where you love Sikkim's cleanliness. You didn't know about the Manipur's political problems.
Actually, that
Genocide
was
happening there.
sorry, ma'am. That was during mains. I had ignored. I didn't read the newspaper at that time. I'll read it on it.
No, but it's still alive now.
Yes, ma'am.
In the last 1 week, also Manipur has come in the papers.
I'll read it, ma'am.
So what you have to do, you have to identify topics.
Okay, ma'am.
It's not mains is gone, you won't be asked.
Yes.
That's not
Yes,
so. It's not that way. And when you become an IAS officer, then you have to be aware of everything. It's not a bookish thing, newspapers, you have to read and you have to make notes. You don't have a date, that's a good thing. You must prepare at least 5 to 8 topics a day.
Okay, ma'am.
Make your list of topics, and since you do one-on-ones, show it to the sleepy classes people.
Yes,
Take
ma'am.
the inputs on that and then prepare on it. You must
Okay.
be familiar with facts so that you can form opinions.
Yes, ma'am.
We never reached the opinion stage because the facts themselves, basic facts were not there. And you were, struggling, mesos and this. It was the genesis of the problem was totally, no, not sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
But you need to prepare.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, for me, the turning point of the interview was the import substitution with China. That's your work that you've handled, Make in India.
Yes, ma'am.
You should have known better. You were absolutely clueless on that, totally clueless. You had no clue. And what did you pick up? Which item? You picked up toys.
Yes, ma'am.
Most irrelevant.
Okay.
So you were like somebody who's, gone to the market and they see Chinese toys and that's your brush with Chinese economy. You are handling Make in India and that could be a real strength for you.
Okay.
Please prepare that. Please prepare Make in India, the startup, stand-up. Please prepare all these properly. But the
Yes,
minute
ma'am.
you say you're handling that, you will 100% get one question, if not more than one question.
Okay,
It is so
ma'am.
important for us. And you were absolutely clueless. Again, वो mains का खत्म हो गया, huh? Mains का नहीं है, that is going to haunt you all your life.
नहीं, ma'am, ऐसा
And
नहीं है,
if you
but
do this question well, that
yes,
is
ma'am.
going to be a turning point in your interview.
Okay,
Let
ma'am.
me tell you that. For me, that was a turning point. The most important question that at least I asked in the interview. Then I asked you US, little smattering of international affairs. And there again, you were like not really up to, you were like not here, not there. See, the way to answer the question is, when an opinion question is asked, or even a factual question, you please give the main things. Like US, you say, all right, there's much to be fun. You must always say two sides of the picture. In favor of US would be that now they're the strongest superpower.
Yes,
And the other superpower emerging is China, who is inimical to you, with whom you can never have a good relationship. You can at best prevent going to war with China. But because of your border dispute, because of the, we think we compete with China. I'm sure we actually don't. We are nowhere near China. Because of all this, China is hemming in India's string of pearls. This Maldives problem, kahan se aayi hai? It's because of China.
China.
You think they have had the guts to speak against India otherwise? Or even Nepal or Sri Lanka, all these are because of China. So therefore, you must know how can we tackle China? Militarily, diplomatically, or economically? So economically is what I asked you, and that's the desk you're handling. Please prepare all these Government of India schemes.
Okay, ma'am.
What is the scheme? What has been what was envisaged? What is the progress so far? How can it be improved? And now the US one, sorry, I digressed. So one is that importance of US. However, US is not reliable because US is a Western bloc, and often they put pressure on us. They have not supported our policy often.
Yes, ma'am.
Ukraine, they suddenly put us palkhon pe because they needed us to talk against Russia. Now they want us to patrol that area, make it safe for ships to pass, which is fine with us because we should be doing it. We should be projecting leadership. That will bring people like Maldives in line. So, that question about Pakistan, it's a good thing we're doing. We are patrolling the seas. We're showing that we have the capability of that. So you have to prepare all these things, current affairs issues, our neighborhood,
Okay.
then, of course, Gulf, what is happening in Gaza, what is happening in the Red Sea. Ukraine also is not dead right now. Then there are other spots also coming up here and there. Then after politically, within the country, there's so much, there are those, Parliament session has been so productive in laws. You should know all those criminal code, the CSE law, the election coming up. Somebody asked you one nation, one election. Yes, you did mention something on both sides, but there's much more to it. You should be prepared with that, So there's lots happening now. Recently, today's papers, some suspensions have been revoked in the papers. Now the legal question is, I was wondering why the session is over, so the suspensions are over. It's a new session. Now the budget, you have to prepare the budget. It's an interim budget. Difference between budget and vote on account. What is it? What are the sectors that they're looking at? So now you see what comes in the budget in your area of strength. Your Make in India, etc. So prepare, identify your topics,
Okay,
and
ma'am.
do about 5 topics a day. And I would say that you should read the paper 2 hours.
Okay.
Which paper do you read?
Indian Express and Times of India.
Okay. Indian Express is a very good paper. Explained, if you read today, there are 3-4 issues, important issues which are analyzed. And use those in your notes that you will make. You will be very well off. Read one economic paper also, at least till the budget and a week after the budget.
Okay.
Because you will then get all the budget. ET or Mint, you can use any of them. Some people prefer Hindu to Times of India, but that's your call. Basically, read Express and supplement other stories with the other paper.
Okay.
And Mint also, or ET, only the eco stories. Economic survey is there today. The findings, it must have been presented already. So prepare all these things, right? If you do that, you will improve your performance of last year.
Yes, ma'am. And also, I am preparing notes of newspaper, but I'm not able to revise them. So कैसे उसको notes बना लिए but revise नहीं करा मतलब तो उसको किस तरह से कितना week में
पढ़ ही
कितना
नहीं पढ़ रहे regularly. You're not
But-
really, see what you can do. I mean, revise, ठीक है, certain things you can't remember, but Manipur is coming every day.
Yes, ma'am.
How can you not know anything about it? So, take a finer detail. You may not remember it's INS Sumitra this time, it was INS Chennai or INS Vizag. That's okay, doesn't matter. That when you revise, that's okay. But other thing to do is that when you're preparing notes, keep an hour every day for revising.
Okay.
Do that. When you'll have to update in any case, no?
Yes,
When
ma'am.
the newspaper, today the story has progressed or the story has reached conclusion. So then you will revise your notes accordingly, no?
Okay.
So keep half an hour a day, maybe initially, maybe increase it to 1 hour. You'll have to make your timetable because you're doing full time into it and you really set yourself up for study. So
Yes,
do
ma'am.
it more strategically, then it'll get better results. Because I saw the potential in you. When you were talking of things that interested you, you were so good
Okay.
and so engaged and very good. But the current affairs do not seem to interest you at all. but they have to interest you now.
No,
I'm
ma'am,
sorry
ma'am,
to say.
they interest me. I'm sorry I was not able to perform
No,
that.
sorry about it.
Okay.
That's really important. Huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
I'll do
all
that.
the best.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, Anurag madam has covered more of the thing. You have to read newspapers because you were just not aware. Now, India-Canada relationship, the last week, only 6 days ago, the Canadian government has set up a committee to investigate what is the Indian role, India government's role in Canada's election. It's a very important news.
Okay, sir.
So, you must read and the important news, and then Bilkis Bano means it has been such a important judgment of the Supreme Court, and they have laid down that what was amiss with the Gujarat government's order, and they have also laid down that what should be the criteria for remission of the accused in heinous cases. They have given a guidelines kind of a thing. It may not be binding, but it's a kind of a direction. So you should know that. I think you have to read and keep yourself aware, because a lot of things will happen. When is your interview? No,
Sir,
not come.
not now. In March. After.
So a lot of things will happen before your interview is there.
Yes, sir.
So you have to read regularly,
Okay, sir.
carefully.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay. All the best.
Thank you, sir.
अच्छा अनुराग, डू वन थिंग, शेड्यूल अ वन-on-one. एक
Okay,
बार
sir.
बैठ जाते हैं भाई.
जी,
अब तू
sir.
खुद नहीं करो तो हम मिलके कर लेते हैं. That's all I'll say.
ठीक
ठीक
है,
है ना?
sir.
We'll sit and we'll sit with the DI, PT, पूरा let's go through everything, whatever
Okay, sir.
the ministry has done, what's so hard, and we'll sit for 1 hour and finish this off, right? And the hill station part, ma'am, I perhaps is the best person, right? You could have got interviewed from, right? So obviously, you would have understood what the level of the interviewer would be,
Yes, sir.
because most people are very interested themselves as well, right? Going to treks and all that. So that's one. The current affairs partner, just create a page, right?
Okay, sir.
Okay, like Manipur issue, one page. Make a page on that, right? Like make a page on, let's say, the Sapinda marriage or any social issue which you see, right? Make a specific, like just a page on this. Okay, this is the issue. This is the viewpoint of the court. This is the social, moralistic view regarding it, and I think this.
Okay, sir.
Okay, right? The flow has to be like this of anything, right? Sometimes obviously you don't need to give details about the content behind the topic, but you would need the Supreme Court view or the various views in society prevalent about about the issue, and then obviously a final view based upon what you think, right? Because
Okay,
at the end of the day, we are judging your personality and not somebody else's. So your view counts the most. Okay,
Okay,
right?
sir.
So and be comfortable, trying questions, and I think that's something good. And see, as a person, you are very likable, right? So they will give you a lot of chances in the interview also. That to do, like if I'm thinking, okay, I want to give you more marks, what do? I give you a question which I think you should be easily answering. Okay,
Okay, sir.
so don't lose that in the interview ever. Okay, ma'am,
Like sir said that you need to really have your viewpoints on the sociological issues like we discussed. Like you should be knowing how to apply Durkheim to quota suicides. Like for that, I think we can have a one-on-one session. If you want to go for it, you can go for it. And that's it about it. Like there are certain issues which are there in news and unka sociological aspect you should be knowing no matter what. Okay? And quota suicides, I think, is a very much in news. It was
Yes,
news
ma'am.
in news last year. It is still in news है ना अभी तो बहुत ही recent है तो ये issues might get asked because there are articles coming every day. And similarly for Sapinda marriages also, what did Delhi High Court say about it and all of that, so that you should be knowing in detail, right?
Okay, ma'am.
So
Yeah, so Anurag, you have a very pleasing personality,
Thank you,
and आपका जो आंसर करने का तरीका है वो भी काफी मतलब अच्छा है, ऐसी बात नहीं. लाइक आई मीन मोर और लेस हैज बीन सेड टू यू. जहां तक करंट अफेयर्स की बात है, व्हाट आई थिंक इज दैट मोस्ट ऑफ द एस्पिरेंट्स व्हाट दे एंड अप डूइंग इज दैट दे एंड अप रीडिंग अ मैगजीन, पीटी 365 और मेन 365। तो क्या होता है ना कि लाइक बारीकी से न्यूज़पेपर नहीं अब बच्चे पढ़ते हैं। तो बारीकी से न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ना बहुत जरूरी है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल इंडियन एक्सप्रेस हो या द हिंदू हो, एनी वन न्यूज़पेपर, बट गिव इट अ थॉरो रीडिंग बिकॉज यू नो ऑल दीज इंपॉर्टेंट जजमेंट्स व्हिच नवनीत सर एंड आराधना मैम वर टॉकिंग अबाउट, बिल्किस बानो केस हो गया, या अगर हम इंटरनेशनल रिलेशंस की भी बात करें, तो गौर से न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ना बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है। प्रोबेबली यू कैन मेक एन एक्सेल शीट। एक्सेल
Okay,
शीट
sir.
पे आप वो टॉपिक्स लिस्ट कर सकते हैं, है ना, लाइक डिजिटली यू कैन जस्ट नोट डाउन द टॉपिक्स, जो जो टॉपिक्स अभी चल रहे हैं, लेट्स से 100 मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक्स करंट अफेयर्स के, एंड दैट कैन
Yes.
आल्सो इंक्लूड टॉपिक्स रिलेटेड टू योर सब्जेक्ट सोशियोलॉजी। एंड देन
Okay.
अकॉर्डिंगली आप जो रिसोर्सेज हैं, कहाँ कहाँ से आप इन टॉपिक्स को प्रिपेयर करेंगे, अकॉर्डिंगली वहां पे आप एक अपनी ना डिजिटल फॉर्मेट में आप इसको ट्रैक पे रख सकते हैं। ऑल्सो व्हेन आई आस्क्ड यू द क्वेश्चन ऑफ द डायस्पोरा पार्ट, नाउ अंडरस्टैंड वन थिंग दैट, देखो इंडियन फॉरेन पॉलिसी को फॉर्मुलेट करने में हमारा जो डायस्पोरा है वो एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट प्ले करता है। अब जैसे पीछे ऑपरेशन गंगा हुआ, यूक्रेन में जो
Yes.
क्राइसिस हुआ था, या
Yes, sir.
ऑपरेशन कावेरी की बात करें, सूडान से जब हमने सिटीजन्स को इवैक्यूएट किया, तो केवल केवल कल्चरल एक्सचेंज तक हम अपने डायस्पोरा को सीमित नहीं रख सकते हैं।
Okay, sir.
अब जैसे अमेरिका में इलेक्शंस हो रहे हैं, कनाडा की बात हुई, हरदीप सिंह निज्जर की बात हुई थी, नवनीत सर ने करी। अब कनाडा में आपको पता है कि 2% जो पॉपुलेशन है कनाडा की वो सिख पॉपुलेशन है। तो
Yes, sir.
डायस्पोरा की जब बात कर रहे हैं तो डायस्पोरा के कंसर्न्स क्या हैं, डायस्पोरा के इश्यूज क्या हैं, जहां जहां पे हमारा डायस्पोरा कहीं पे फंसा हुआ है, कोई प्रॉब्लम है, कोई लड़ाई हो रही है। गल्फ रीजन चलो मान के चलो, गल्फ रीजन में 90 लाख 90 लाख इंडियंस रहते हैं, है ना। तो अब सिर्फ कल्चर तक बात खत्म नहीं हो जाती है हमारी,
Okay.
हमको ये भी देखना है कि और इश्यूज क्या आ रहे हैं, कैसे अब उन देशों ने हमारे डायस्पोरा को सीरियसली लेना शुरू कर दिया है, हमारे डायस्पोरा के कंसर्न्स को सीरियसली लेना शुरू कर दिया है पिछले कुछ 9-10 सालों में। सो ये सब बातों का आपने ध्यान रखना है व्हाइल यू आर आंसरिंग एनी क्वेश्चन अबाउट इंडियाज डायस्पोरा।
Yes, sir. Okay.
दैट्स
So,
अबाउट जी।
कल्चर के अलावा सर आप कौन सा कह रहे हैं, कौन सा एस्पेक्ट, जैसे सोशल या जैसे
सिक्योरिटी का
किस पर?
एस्पेक्ट,
ओके.
सोशल का एस्पेक्ट। अब जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल अभी न्यूज में था कि एक लड़का था 25 साल का, अमेरिका के किसी स्टोर में वो काम करता था। ही ही बिलोंग टू सम विलेज, सम प्लेस इन हरियाणा। ही वाज किल्ड बाय समबडी हु वाज अ ड्रग एडिक्ट। अब
होमलेस, या यस सर, आई रेड द
है ना,
न्यूज़.
विवेक सैनी उस लड़के का नाम था, उसको 25 साल का लड़का था, एक स्टोर पे काम करता था, है ना। और वहां पे कोई उससे मदद मांगने आया, उसको स्टोर में शेल्टर दिया, रहने के लिए जगह दी, और उसी आदमी ने, वो ड्रग एडिक्ट था, उसी आदमी ने विवेक को मारा। अब कहने का मतलब ये है कि जो रेशियल अब्यूज हो रहा है, डिस्क्रिमिनेशन हो रहा है, चाहे वो ऑस्ट्रेलिया में हो, चाहे वो यूएस में हो, चाहे वो कनाडा में हो, यूरोप में हो, जो हमारे डायस्पोरा रिलेटेड कंसर्न्स हैं, है ना, जो डायस्पोरा उनकी सिक्योरिटी से संबंधित, उनकी जो सोशल कंसर्न्स आ जाते हैं, ये सब चीजों को भी मद्देनजर रखना बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है। और
ठीक है सर.
पॉलिटिकली अगर हम बात करें तो पॉलिटिकली जैसे आप जानते हैं दैट साइजेबल नंबर ऑफ इंडियंस, दे आर यू नो दे आर वर्किंग एज मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट्स इन कनाडा। दे आर ऑल्सो प्लेइंग अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल इन पॉलिसी फॉर्मुलेशन इन अमेरिका। तो
ओके सर.
अमेरिका है, कनाडा है, गल्फ रीजन है, कैसे उन देशों की पॉलिसीज में जो फॉर्मुलेशन हो रहा है उसमें एक सेंट्रल रोल जो इंडिया का डायस्पोरा है वो भी प्ले कर रहा
यस सर, अंडरस्टूड.
है। थैंक यू।
Okay,
थैंक
then
यू.
all the best, Anurag.
थैंक यू मैम, आई विल वर्क ऑन सजेशंस मैम.
All the best. You will certainly do very well then.
थैंक यू मैम.
ऑल द बेस्ट।
All the best.
थैंक यू. थैंक्स अ लॉट.